the miniseries. I was there when they were filming it, but I can't bring myself to watch it because I read the book. But I mean, I wrote the book, and then I read the book, and then I rewrote the book, and then I read the book again, then I rewrote it. And then I also wrote Locomotion, and I'm gonna start, I'm just gonna read some from Locomotion. And when I write, I never know how a book's gonna end. I never know what a story's gonna say. I never know how I'm gonna tell it. I just start writing and see where the story takes me. And then I rewrite and rewrite and rewrite. So Locomotion begins, this whole book's a poem because every time I try to tell the whole story, my mind goes, be quiet. Only it's not my mind's voice, it's Miss Edna's over and over and over, be quiet. I'm not a loud kid, I swear, I'm just me, and maybe sometimes I make a little bit of noise. If I was a grown-up, maybe Miss Edna would be telling me to be quiet all the time, but I'm 11, and maybe 11's just noisy, maybe 12's quieter. But when Miss Edna's voice comes on, the ideas in my head go out like a candle, and all you see left is this little string of smoke that disappears real quick before I have a chance to find out what it's trying to say. So this whole book's a poem because poetry's short, and this whole book's a poem because Miss Marcus says, write it down before it leaves your brain. I tell her about the string of smoke thing, and she says, good, Lonnie, write that. Not a whole lot of people be saying good, Lonnie, to me, so I write the string of smoke thing down real fast, and Miss Marcus says, we'll worry about line breaks later. Write fast, Lonnie, Miss Marcus says, and I'm thinking, yeah, I better write fast before Miss Edna's voice comes on and blows my candle idea out. So Locomotion is about a boy who's in 5th grade and he's learning to tell the story of his life through poetry. And that's the first poem in the book. And then he spends a lot of time hanging with his homeboys. And this is called Hey Dog. Hey dog, that's what you call your boys. Hey dog, you wanna hoop? Then you and your dogs are throwing the ball around and talking about girls and ball players and stuff you're gonna have one day. A red car, a shearling coat, some slamming kicks, a pocket full of money, satellite dish, and cable. On and on, you and your dogs, 2 college degrees, straight A, straight up, a fat deal with the Lakers. Nah, the Knicks. Nah, the Knicks ain't nothing. What you talking about, dog? The Knicks got game. No, they don't. A game of tag, baby, game of checkers, game of pin the tail on the donkey. Just grinning and talking junk, not even knowing when or where. The people started calling the people they love to be around dog, but liking it and feeling good when your dog slaps your back, gives you a quick hug, says, what's up, dog? I was in Minnesota and I had asked the kids if they call each other dog there. They said, no, we call each other cat, but they were lying. So, so I had written Locomotion, and this one is called Pigeon, and I hate pigeons. And so then I decided I was going to make my character hate pigeons too. I'm just going to read the first half, recite the first half. And it's really fast. I didn't put any punctuation when I wrote it because I wanted it to be read without any punctuation, without any pausing. People all the time talking about how much they hate pigeons because pigeons fly by and poop on their head, and then someone always goes, that's good luck, so you don't feel all stupid going through your pocket trying to find a tissue to wipe it off, and you never find a tissue because you don't be carrying tissues like some old lady, so you gotta walk up to some old lady with that pigeon crap in your head, and she just goes, don't worry son, that's good luck like everybody else, and it makes you hate those sky roaches because they're everywhere in New York City, so when you see one you better duck or else. But this guy Todd that lives next door to Miss Edna's house got a pigeon coop on his roof, and sometimes I go up there and watch Todd waving this huge white sheet back and forth and up and down until all those pigeons come flying, making those swooping pigeon sounds. Those days I'm not scared about putting pigeon poop on my head because the way they fly all slow back and forth, and Todd's face all broken out into the biggest smile you ever seen on a teenager. All of that stuff makes you want to look up in the sky and believe in everything you ever wanted to believe in. I had changed that end around because I don't quite remember it. So, but usually from the process of writing and rewriting, I realize that I don't always have to carry my books with me when I get on a plane because a lot of it is in my head. Brothers are the baddest. Then comes Dominicans. Dominicans don't mess around. I'm cool with Dominicans though. They don't mess with me, I don't mess with them. I lay back on my bed and listen to my brother New Charlie talking. I swear since the day I was born, he'd been going on about who was the baddest. Used to be brothers were the baddest, but somewhere along the road their status dropped. Now they were second down or somewhere. So that's from Miracle's Boys. And the only one thing about Miracle's Boys, I was trying to write a book that didn't have any girls in it because I had written Last Summer with Mason and Mason at Blue Hill, and I had written all of these books that had girl characters in them. And I decided I'm going to start trying to write books that didn't have any girls in them. And so I started writing Miracle's Boys, and I didn't know other women authors who were doing that. So I went back, and one of the books I read was The Outsiders, and I study Essie Hinton to see how she did it, because she had written a book. She had written a couple of books from the point of view of guys, and I knew I wanted to make it about brothers, and I knew I wanted to make them have to raise themselves. And I didn't know until I really got into it that New Charlie was going to be in a juvenile detention center. And I had never been to a juvenile detention center, so when I got to the point where I had to rewrite how the juvenile detention center was, I went to a place called Connolly Home for Boys in Massachusetts, and I spent 5 days there. And it was a juvie for boys from ages 10 to 18, and you know, the crimes range from stealing a car to taking a life. And so I would go there in the morning and I would stay until it was time for them to be locked up. And then I would go to my hotel and come back the next morning. And so in Miracles Boys, New Charlie talks about what it was like to be in a juvenile detention center. And even though it's a work of fiction that comes from what I experienced when I was at Connolly, they had to walk in a line everywhere. They had to walk with their heads bowed. If they did one thing wrong, the CO was taking something away from them. And he goes, you know, no television, no yard time, no you, no more. And so in that part of the book, that does come from something that really happens in the juvenile detention center that I spent time in. And so Miracles Boys took me 4 years to write. Locomotion took me 10 months to write. I was pregnant with my daughter when I started writing it, and I wanted to try to write it before she was born. Unfortunately, she was 2 weeks late, so it gave me another 2 weeks. I'm going to end by reading to you from a book I wrote called The Other Side. And it's actually a picture book. But when you read a picture book, a lot of times you can look at the pictures and get the story, or you can listen to the words and get the story. So I'm just going to give you the words, and I'm sure it's in your school library or your local library or online somewhere. I don't know, it's not even on my shelf anymore because I gave it away. That summer, the fence that stretched through our town seemed bigger. We lived in a yellow house on one side of it, and white people lived on the other. And Mama said, "Don't climb over that fence when you play." She said it wasn't safe. Thank you. That summer, there was a girl who wore a pink sweater. Each morning, she climbed up on that fence and stared over at our side. She never sat up on that fence with anyone, that girl didn't. Once when we were jumping rope, that girl asked if she could play, and my friend Sandra said no without even asking the rest of us. I don't know what I would have said. Maybe yes, maybe no. That summer, everything and everyone on the other side of that fence seemed far away. When I asked my mama how come, she said because that's the way things have always been. Sometimes when I went